Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Busted Steel by M.J. Fields, narrated by Elizabeth Hart and Troy Duran. Prologue. I always loved summer, until the one before my junior year of high school. The summer everything changed. The summer where my life was turned upside down and inside out, and I was left feeling as if I were on the outside looking in through a window of a house, a beautiful house, that had suddenly become ugly. Mom cried a lot, my younger sister Tris yelled a lot, my brother Amias, well, he would have rather been anywhere else, and Dad, my first love, didn't smile anymore. My extended family, once closer than any siblings I have met, were no longer under what was obviously a magical spell. A spell that had clearly been broken. I never wished a summer away, until that one. Over the next 2 years, everything changed. Everything. Italy. Sense versus Sensibility. Chapter 1. Brissa. Eyes closed, I breathe in, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold. Exhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Opening my eyes, I step out from under the pavilion and, temporarily blinded by the bright, setting sun, I close my eyes and blink several times as they adjust to the light, allowing me to finally take in the beauty of my surroundings. Well, things up close, anyway. I opted to give my eyes a rest today from the contacts I wore for over 20 hours while traveling. I didn't want to wear glasses because, hello, no need for a glare in pictures. And let's be honest, I look hotter without them. Thankfully, I'm nearsighted and get to take in the beauty that's right before me. The green leafy vines are tethered to wooden fence posts on either side of me for a good 100 yards. Slowly, I begin walking down the hard-packed brown earth beneath my shoes, making sure to step on the spots that appear to be the hardest so that my heels don't sink into the dirt and ruin the Sergio Rossi metallic SR1s that my sister, Tris, gave me as a gift. I inhale as the wind gently blows the scent of the salty sea air and the vine-ripening grapes that mix together with the bouquet of tea roses that I carry in my hands. Stalling for a moment, eyes open this time, I do it again. I breathe. But this time, I do it as I walk. Using all my senses, I breathe in the beauty with my eyes. I breathe in the sounds of the gulls above, the pianist and cellist playing Copland's Appalachian Spring in the distance, and the whispers of the crowd just beyond the vine path. I breathe in the wind's gentle touch against my skin, while lifting the flowers, inhaling the scent of the roses, and then I lick the grape-flavored gloss from my lips. Once again, I am learning to find beauty in everything around me and turning a blind eye to what it is that I can't change. God, I wish I brought my camera. It's stunning here. Then again, pictures here may not spark great memories, though I'm hopeful things turn out the way they should. Breathe, Brissa, just breathe, I tell myself, while imagining it's Marley's voice I'm hearing in my head. Never in a million years would I have thought I'd be seeing a shrink on a weekly basis. Yet, for the past 2 years, that's exactly what's been happening. I was thrust into therapy when Triss's breakdown was in full swing and I lost my tits. Like, literally went from a D cup to a B. When I realized I dropped 15 pounds, I hid it by wearing layers. I didn't say anything to my parents, regardless of how worried I was. I wasn't going to cause them any more problems than they were already dealing with. In fact, I was sure they were on the brink of a divorce. Instead, I turned to Google for answers. Let me tell you, no one should ever travel that path. I was convinced I either had cancer or an intestinal worm eating my body from the inside out. I looked like a 12-year-old boy from behind, and pretty much the same from the side. When I overheard my grandmother, a.k.a. Mama Joe, informing my father that he best pay some attention to his eldest child, He asked her what the hell was wrong with Amias, my brother. It hurt a bit, since I was actually the oldest. It felt like they may have forgotten all about me. Amias was born 10 months to the day as I was, my Irish twin, which is why we were in the same grade all throughout school and just graduated together. Tris was born 11 months after him, so they were considered Irish twins as well. It should be noted that not one of us were planned, but we were certainly wanted. Except, after hearing that, I was sure that was all a lie. I must have ran up the stairs too loudly because, within seconds and mid-scream into my trusty pillow, Dad bounded into my room and told me he was sorry. He informed me that he never had to worry about his Brissa, that I was always the one of us three that he could count on to always do what was right. Then he looked me over and asked me how long I'd had an eating disorder, basically all in one breath. I told him I didn't. He was pissed, didn't believe me, grounded me, and threw me into therapy. Diagnosis? Secondhand anxiety. I simply wasn't hungry. So now, even if I'm not hungry, I have to force myself to drink a damn shake that tastes like chalk. The plus side is my tits are back, which is obvious in this dress. And bonus? I'm finally getting an ass. Our therapist, Marley, also asked me if I knew what an empath was. As she explained it to me, I romanticized it in my head. I mean, who wouldn't want to truly care so deeply for others that they felt what they felt? I repeat, felt what they felt. I now have to make a conscious effort to not be that girl. And right now, it's really fucking difficult. Stepping into the clearing, I look at my family sitting on the wooden benches and facing the arbor, and I make myself smile, as genuinely as I can. Being a hater of fake smiles, I think about the one truly miraculous thing that's happening. Something that brings me joy. My ass. Grinning, I make my way toward my brother and Max, who are also standing up for Tris. Once next to Amias, I choose to look over everyone's head in lieu of making eye contact. Because everyone's sitting before us, I love with all my heart, and I just can't afford to absorb their energies right now. I need to focus on being happy for Tris, which, in this atmosphere, I liken to swimming in shit and coming out smelling like roses.
This feels more like a funeral than a wedding.
Amias tugs at his tie while grumbling under his breath as the pianist begins to play Bridal Chorus. He's not wrong, but for the first time since Tris was in 4th grade, she's smiling genuinely again. Mom isn't crying, well, not as much, and fingers crossed that Dad will be able to smile again for the first time in about 2 years. Then, when this is over and done with, we can all go back to the good stuff in life. Trying to find an anchor, a focal point, anything to hone into my romantic side, I glance at the sun that is setting just beyond the water fountain where 2 cherub statues stand facing each other. It's stunning. She looked happy before we came out. Let's be happy for her. He sighs heavily.
She's fucking 17, Brissa. That's what you're tripping over?
Our cousin, Max, whispers.
Not the fact that her soon-to-be husband is 8 years older than her and doesn't even speak fucking English? Or that Tris doesn't speak Spanish.
Amias adds. I want it to be okay, but it's not. My sister is 17 years old. 17. Bridal chorus stops, and we collectively sigh. Longest rehearsal ever, I think. Then again, the only other 2 weddings I've been involved in were my cousins, Bella, which was a surprise wedding that took place at the tattoo shop, and Kiki. Both were very small and intimate, family only, much like most of our parents' weddings. Love is its own language, I whisper, trying to convince them, as well as myself, that this is going to be okay. She told me she's in love with him. She told me she never felt this way. And I see it, or what I assume it is, in her eyes. I know she was never this at ease when she was around Marcello. Her head was always down, a look of almost pain etched in her features. I thought it was just who she was until all hell broke loose the first day that the West Side crew, a.k.a. the remainder of our very close circle of friends, moved from our old school in Seashore Academy in Mantoloking. Those next 2 years of what I imagined to be much like hell had me drinking the shit out of shakes. But now, it is finally over. Well, for us. Max is going into his senior year and will have to deal with all that shit himself because Tris, who was in the same grade, dropped out to become a pop sensation and is now about to get married. I've never been able to find that ballet of butterflies kind of connection with any male my age. I half blame my parents, namely Dad, for having grown up believing that every man looks at his wife like he looks at Mom. Like the fountain cherubs, even though they are stone, seem to be looking at one another. The look that truly epitomizes the phrase, "the sun rises and sets beneath her feet." Age is a non-issue with me, because of the fact that the only man who has made me feel anything close to dancing butterflies in my belly is older than me. Wyatt Dalton, aka Ranger, was my first real kiss and also the first man to break my heart. That may seem to be a slight exaggeration, but slight or not, it's true. Since that day, 4 years ago, when a man 11 years older than me kissed me and I felt the swoon, nothing has compared. Marley told me it was because, for empaths to feel their best in an intimate situation, they have to share the physical intimacy with the right person.
This when you know shit needs to stop.
Amaya grumbles. It's worked out for Mama Joe, our parents, Belle, Kiki, Truth, and Justice. I say only half-heartedly, because the rest of us, not so much. I look to Truth, who's sitting snuggled up to Tobias. She crosses her eyes to make me laugh, and I cross mine back. She's the only one I've told about the whole empath thing. And she's also the one who, just last night, talked me into reevaluating going into psychology, and the reason I'm going to take a year off to reevaluate with a gap year, which I will be telling my parents about at the end of this 2-week vacation. Reality is that one of us is actually okay with this, the person who is the easiest to be around right now, Mama Joe. Mom is doing okay, and Dad's just happy that Mom's not crying all the time, yet he still hasn't genuinely smiled in about 2 years.
Didn't work out for Patrick.
Amaya whispers, and we all shift our gazes to the back of the property where Patrick stands. I may not be able to see him clearly, but I know by the way he's standing that it's him. A man, possibly the owner of the vineyard, is walking toward him. None of us really knew he was in love. Suspicious, sure, but we are, or were, forever Steel, and that's supposed to mean all sorts of things. Apparently, though, it doesn't include us sharing matters of the heart that don't pertain to family, like love, in the way they felt it, the way I was so trying to feel it with Miles up until he graduated. Miles suggested we try to have a long-distance relationship, but I talked him into breaking up with me. It's so much easier to allow someone to think they're breaking your heart than it is to break theirs. It wasn't to be shared unless it was shouted to the rooftop, or left your heart battered and bleeding, giving you the inability to keep it all inside. That was the case with Patrick, who still won't talk about it, and Tris, who apparently had lost her V-card to Marcello Efisto way before Kiki, who was a year older than me, did, or Truth in me. What hurts my heart isn't this marriage. It's the fact that I'm not sure I ever really knew my own sister. It's not just that she hid losing her virginity. I didn't even know Tris loves to sing, let alone the fact that she's amazing at it, and on stage until a talent show fundraiser. Amazing as in she put all her anger and heartbreak on full display for the world, but she certainly didn't talk to me about it. Hurt? Absolutely. Bitter? A little bit. But more than anything, I'm upset that I didn't realize how badly he broke her until it was almost too late. I suppose it's why it took so long for me to truly feel what she felt, because I'm pretty sure at that age she didn't even understand her feelings, so I couldn't feel it. Right now, I truly feel she's happier than she ever has been. Patrick, though, looks like shit. Well, as shitty as a 20-year-old who should be on fashion ads, millionaire manager of the platinum-selling band Foreplay, can look shitty. He's refused to stand up because he's been the one dealing with the unruly lead singer of above-mentioned band, Tris, for the past year, and after this wedding fiasco, He has officially decided to step back and return to college. God, she really messed him up. Well, they both, Savvy/Sutton and Triss. Anyone who wants to go back to college instead of adulting is surely a masochist.
Well, I'm still gonna rip Hephaestus's fucking head off.
Amias's voice is loud enough that Mama Jo gives him an arched brow, warning him to tone it down, and I elbow him.
He did this shit to her.
No, she did it to herself. Hearts can't be broken unless you allow them to be. A realization that hit me in one of my many sessions with Marley. Max reaches around me and holds out a fist.
Damn right.
I don't tap it back, but Amias does. I glower at them. How is he any different than you two?
Neither of us fucked with Triss,
Max says, as if that's any sort of viable reasoning. Well, that would be incest, so I'm not going to pat the two of you on the back. The music stops again, and Uncle Cyrus walks out from between one of the vineyard rows and into the garden, where we are all pretending to patiently wait for this to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he says to us, which is so freaking formal and unlike him. To address our family in such a way is jarring. That, coupled with the fact that he truly looks like he's at a damn funeral.
The bride and groom would like to inform you that there's been a change in plans. Thank fuck,
Amias says, loosening his tie that took me 20 minutes to fix because he can't keep still.
There will be no rehearsal. Tonight will be the actual wedding ceremony.
I look at Truth, who closes her eyes and shakes her head slightly as my stomach drops. Truth, Kiki, Bella, Triss, and I were supposed to have a slumber party of sorts tonight, at which time I planned on attempting to sway her decision, get her to see that there is no reason to rush. I watch as Cyrus walks towards Aunt Tara, and the pianist, now accompanied by a cellist, begins to play The Prince of Denmark's March. Triss's sooner-than-expected-to-be husband, Matteo Arias, walks out, followed by who I'm going to assume are his brothers, Dante and Hugo. I inwardly scold myself for the slight swoon I feel when I see the brothers. I should be immune to statue men with near-devastating good looks. I'm surrounded by them daily. Yet it's different when you're not subjected to the daily reality that they're only human, and all humans have faults. Matteo is in a black suit, whereas the guys are all in dark gray. His thick wavy hair is tamer than the pictures I've seen on IG while he's working. He looks sexy GQ now as compared to the sexy, tortured artist. His photos certainly lack in bringing a clear picture of him. I glance behind me, at Amias and Max, who are glaring at them. Then I quickly look back at Matteo, who gives me a slight nod and hello. When bridal chorus begins again, I lean toward Matteo and say what I'm hoping translates well in Spanish.
Hazle daño, te mataré.
Hurt her, I'll kill you. To that, his face lights up in a smile. Then, in a sexy AF accent, he replies,
La apreciaré.
Gah, of course she would fall for that. Hell, I'm falling for it. I look away, but not soon enough before my face breaks out in a smile.
Seriously?
Amias huffs. I look over at him and shake my head. They'll be fine, Amias.
For how long?
He snaps. For as long as they want to be. And that is the most truthful thing that has come out of my mouth so far today. And you know what the truth does. It sets you free.
Plot twist. Chapter 2. Ranger. This is some major bullshit, even for Triss. Patrick Steele snarls as we watch Triss and her father, Xander, appear from amidst the row of grapes. I don't want to say a damn thing. It's a matter of the heart, and I'm not paid to deal with such things. Did you know this was going down tonight? He asks. I glance over at him and nod once. She has her reasons. The possible problem, the reason for the wedding being moved up to tonight, is flying into Pisa in a few hours. Her ex, Marcello Efisto, is that fucking problem. Paparazzi couldn't get on this property if they tried. And I'm her fucking manager. Don't you think you're her manager? But a week ago, when you announced you'd be going back to college, I was told to stop sharing information that doesn't pertain to her contractual obligations. By who? He asks in shock, offended. Xander? By my employer, Triss. Ranger, you know damn well that I get she's pissed at you. I get that you're pissed at her, but Forever 4 isn't paying me. Therefore, that's fucked up, and you know it. Bro, you need to tone it down and chill. Be happy you're going back to the States and don't have to sit outside the honeymoon suite. She's making a mistake. I lay down some real. Hers to make. She'll be 18 soon, and her parents are allowing this, so let it go. I nod toward his family, all sitting there, looking constipated as fuck, none too happy with her decisions. Go chill with your crew. I pull my phone out of my pocket and open the app to check the security cameras, making sure the grounds are still secure. I know they are, but it never hurts to double and triple check. After flipping through the screens, getting a visual on all possible points of entry, and I'm satisfied, I walk a bit closer to the ceremony and regret it immediately when bright blue-green eyes connect with mine. This is so not worth the money, I think, as I hold her stare. She looks shocked. Good. The girl has needed a good ass-kicking for a few years now for pulling that shit she did. She not only put me in a shit situation, but herself too. Had I not been invited to Sunday dinner with the Steele family, I wouldn't have known she was one of them, or that she was just a kid. I'm pretty damn thankful that I found out the next damn day and immediately blocked her instead of asking her out on a date. I have managed to avoid the Brissa situation for all those years. Strategic planning on my part, and some damn good luck, too. I scrub my hand over my face as I look away, silently reprimanding myself for the 100th time for kissing that girl when she was... Fuck, I can't even say the number. But it sure as hell wasn't the same number I'd thought, or the one she gave me when I asked her. She said she was 19. Sure as hell looked like she was, too. In hindsight, 19 was still pushing it, I suppose. Hell, I was 26 at the time. Not that I am ever accepting of excuses, but the girl with her looked younger. She did not. I knew Tobias dated older than his age, so I assumed she was one of his friends. She was not. Straight up, I really liked the way she looked at me. That may sound arrogant as fuck, but it's true. Until I went in the military, I had been a 6'2" bag of fucking bones who didn't have shit and had to scrap for every fucking thing I ever needed. Fuck. Wanted. Need came first. Then leaving the military was a major adjustment, maybe even harder than when I joined and left Jersey. I didn't leave shit behind except an older sister who I love, but she wasn't ever going to be legit unless we both busted ass. 2 kids, 2 years apart. Both raised under the same shitty circumstances. Shared the same dream, to get the fuck out of poverty and off the system. I craved that shit. Craved normal, and I wasn't afraid to work for it. Sissy was softer. Weaker. At 2 years older than me, she hustled working at a gas station and as a waitress at night as soon as she turned 18 and our junkie mother left us. I owed her, so before I enlisted we had a plan. I was going to send her money so she could stop working 2 jobs and get her ass into community college. She wanted to become a nurse, and while enlisted I became a medic. In my fucking mind, we would rise together and always have something in common. When I finally got out of the military, I realized my money, every fucking cent extra I had that I sent to her, she shot up. I should have known better, but it had always been us against the world. Now it's just me. I tried to get a job, thinking that with my former employer being the U.S. military and all I accomplished there, I could find 40 hours anywhere, then further my education and become something. No one would hire me. Not enough experience. I legit took a back seat on survival and knocked on good old Frank's door, same man whose door I knocked on when my mother took off, trying to find a way to make money for basics. Frank knew everyone, and I became somewhat of an errand boy to him back then. I didn't sell drugs or any shit like that. I simply collected information that he could use against anyone in case he needed a favor. I was good at that shit, too. So naturally, I went back to him, and he got me hooked up with the underground circuit. When I wasn't fighting, I was working at a tattoo shop. I was real good at both fighting and the art of tattooing. I also had way more info on the hierarchy at that school for rich punks than anyone but Frank. I have no clue how, but, well, now here I am, working for one of those punks, making legit fat bank, and oddly, bored out of my fucking mind half the damn time. Now Triss has asked me to stay on and even offered to pay me double my salary when I declined. With what I saved in the past 3 years since working for the Steele family, I can finally do legit. I gave her until the first of the year, my 30th birthday, and then I'm going to be like Billy Madison, but going to college and dreaming bigger, or doing what I'm damn good at already by opening up my own tattoo shop. Plant fucking roots and enjoy life, providing for myself on my own terms. I watch as the Steele family stands and claps while Triss and Mateo are announced husband and wife. Doves are released in the distance and I laugh, thinking what a fucking waste of money. Standing in the corner of the tasting room that has been transformed into a dining room, I look up from the screen on my phone just in time to see Hugo Arias walk up to Brissa Steele at the bar. Out of all 3 of the Arias brothers, he's my least favorite. This comes from extensive background checks. He's married, and his wife is rarely with him, yet his dance card never seems empty, if you know what I mean. I glance around the room to make sure someone's got eyes on this, meaning her father, brother, or one of the other male cousins. None of them do. Hugo puts his hand on the small of her back, and I see her lean toward him. Again, I look around. When I see him guide her toward the exit to the garden, I look around the room yet again. Xander is looking at the door they just exited, a crease forming between his brows as he looks over his mother's head, then at me. Get your girl, I think, hoping he does just that. Nope. He nods for me to follow. You've got to be fucking kidding me, I sigh to myself as I walk toward the door. Once outside, I do a quick sweep of the area and don't see them anywhere. Then when I hear her laugh, I head toward the rows of grapes, hell-bent on stopping whatever it is that's about to go down.
You sure you lost it out here?
Yes, and my bride will not be too forgiving of such an infraction.
Where is she?
Brissa asks. She's ill and couldn't make the trip. I quietly move closer, secretly hoping her fucking father makes his way out here soon to deal with this.
Oh, I'm sorry,
she says rather sweetly. To be honest, I'm very glad to be here alone with you. Motherfucker, I think. And then I hear a loud smack, skin to skin.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Briss yells. You don't have to play the innocent card with me, my dear. I see how you look at me.
Yeah, well, that ship sailed when you played the marriage card, Hugo.
Then pretend as if I didn't and kiss me. Slap. I feel for the twine so that I can duck under it and not clothesline myself to get to them as Briss snaps at him.
You touch me again and I will kick you so hard in the nuts that your future children will feel it.
You're a feisty little... She steps back as he reaches for her, and her back hits my chest, causing her to startle and jump forward into him like a little ping-pong ball. Wrapping his arms around her, he says, I love crazy Americans. Take your hands off Miss Steele now. Brissa pushes him away and turns toward me.
Ranger?
Your father is looking for you. I step past her and toward him.
Okay, well, it's dark.
She grabs my elbow.
Could you walk me in?
Follow the path, I tell her through gritted teeth, standing eyeball to eyeball with Hugo. He tries to hide his shock, his voice steady as he says, I'll escort Brissa. Listen, motherfucker, the girl said, Woman! Brissa attempts to jack my elbow back.
I'm 19 years old.
Unable to stop myself, I sneer. Again?
Yeah,
she says, releasing my elbow. For a brief moment, I think she's doing what was asked of her, walking back in to rejoin the party. A very brief moment. Wedging herself between myself and Hugo, facing me, she demands,
Go inside. Now.
Hugo steps back. I was under the impression, walk away, motherfucker, I seethe. While you can.
He's family now.
Brissa actually defends the asshole. Walk. I step back, turn, and wave my hand in front of myself. Now. Squaring her shoulders, her head held high, she walks past me. I take the opportunity to grab Hugo by his collar and jack him toward me.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?